to prove that he's not at the tail end of his career. Probably is because he's 32 years of age, but keep in mind that he's had 2 full seasons practically where he hasn't played. So really, he saved himself about 1,000 hits. That's the way I look at it. So in that regard, I just say to myself, excuse me, Adrian Peterson, what would be the best situation for him? To play, meaning being one of the focal points, to win games, and to compete for a Super Bowl title. To me, it would be the Oakland Raiders.
All right, I'm going to say this because there's a lot there. I think that his focus now is one thing. I think all the three you mentioned are true for most players. It's about winning a Super Bowl now. And if I'm in Adrian Peterson's position, it isn't about money, and more likely that's what the conversation is going to go on with the New England Patriots right now. So here's what I envision them talking about right now. Okay, Bill Belichick is very clear with how we are as a team. How do you fit here as a team? I don't think there's any doubt that he could be a significant phase to our offense because keep in mind, when they have gotten throttled, keep in mind a few years ago, Kansas City beat them down on a Monday night game. What did they do against the Cincinnati Bengals the next week? They lined it up. It wasn't about number 12. It was about 2 tight ends, 2 backs, and they pounded the football. They did run action, and they built themselves right back up to, I believe, win the Super Bowl. I think they win. They go to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Okay, LeGarrette Blount has been significant the last 2 years because those phases are needed in this league. Where it makes Tom Brady a freak, you have to control the tempo in this league. I don't care what anybody says. That's the most vital aspect of winning consistently in the NFL. Tom Brady can do that throwing the football a lot at times. However, it's still very difficult week in and week out to do that. So to have a guy like Adrian Peterson or to use a guy like LeGarrette Blount, that would be vital. Now, what I'm sure the conversation is, you said that, missing a couple of years. When he was suspended, I thought actually that was a blessing for him for longevity because I know from that position, and never touched the ball as much as he did, it starts adding up. Year after year, you just don't get recovered. You're not as healthy as you were. I mean, it just never – well, he got that refresher. He was – if say they said a couple years ago he wasn't as good or the last year, is because of the style that he is. He's a violent runner at the line of scrimmage. They tried to change that. They tried to change the way around the football. I mean, that was some of the problem in Minnesota. Not just their offensive line was bad, but they tried to change his style. I don't know how dumb that is. So I'm sure they're talking about his style. How does it fit? If you come here, here's the phase, and here's how you would be utilized on a weekly basis.
But you mentioned something about him wanting to win, and that's really all it's about. My response is...
But I say winning a Super Bowl.
I know that. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
My thing is, when I... Remember, before Minnesota decided to let him go because he was going to count $18 million against their cap, he was saying he wanted to stay in Minnesota. And I'm like, well, I'm not looking at Minnesota as a surefire, or a favorite to win the Super Bowl. So if he was willing to stay there, asking to go to somebody, I know that, but asking to go someplace like Oakland wouldn't be beyond the pale. That was my thinking.
Well, I guess, listen, if you're going to be smart, you always say you want to stay. Well, meanwhile, you're like, I don't want to stay here. It's not good for me. But why say that?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm dumb if I say that.
And you don't know if there's other options. I have a question, though. So Blount was second in the league in carries last year. Can Adrian Peterson, if Blount's out, can he handle that workload?
I don't think there's any doubt. I don't think there's any doubt. A, he can handle it, number one. But two, the balance that's going to be there. I'm not overworked. I mean, what I have left in me, I can look like I have a full tank because of how we're going to approach it. Well, listen, they're a week-to-week offense anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
I think everybody knows in football they're a week-to-week offense. But you would try to implement him in your weekly design just because of who he is and what kind of runner he is. I mean, he's a better runner than LeGarrette Blount. Blount's a very good runner, but he's a one-dimensional style. I mean, Adrian Peterson.
What if he's 80% of what he was? That's still a Hall of Fame caliber player on this Patriots offense. That's why I think maybe it could actually happen, Merrill, because you look at this deep running back class this year, but already the Patriots have said no, they're not going to look at Mixon. That takes one off the board.
Right.
If those other backs are snapped up, what's the easiest way to refresh your running game? Sign Adrian Peterson.
Well, listen, after Leonard Fournette, you don't get anybody freakish like Adrian Peterson, so get rid of that. You got all this experience too in a guy. There's not a bunch of, teaching how to play in this league. He knows how to play in the league. What Bill Belichick, who does as good a job as anybody in football, we're going to accommodate your running style too. We're not going to be knuckleheads and try to change your style. You've been like this forever, now we're going to change it. That was the dumbest thing they ever did in Minnesota.
Teaching an old dog.
Just get rid of him there. But don't try to change his style. That's what killed Adrian Peterson there. Trying to change his style. You can't do that.
Let's leave it on that. Speaking of the Patriots, a little